What does this mean to Ireland cricket?
Well, it's huge for us. We missed out in the last T20 World Cup very closely in Scotland when Thailand went through and played so well at the World Cup themselves. And we're hoping to emulate them. Going to the World Cup, we want to compete over there. We're certainly not just going to make up the numbers. I think we've really improved over the last few years, and we want to show that to everyone in world cricket.
The Joyces are like the first family of cricket in Ireland. Isabel tweeted yes, and I can't even count the number of S that she tweeted. How much does this mean to the family?
Well, it's huge. Isabel and Cecilia played for such a long time for the women and went through good times and bad times, but mainly good times in terms of how they performed. And Ireland always a strong women's cricketing nation, and I think once the contracts and professionalism has come into other countries around the world, maybe they've overtaken us a bit, and there's been a bit of a changing of the guard as well with some of the senior players stopping recently. So we're trying to blood lots of youngsters at the same time, which can be tricky. But we've got contracts coming this year, and it has made a difference. The girls are able to train more, they're able to get stronger and fitter and stuff like that. And I think that's made a huge difference in this heat. So it's a big thing for us. So what will it mean to family? I mean, my mom watches. She finds it very hard to watch. She gets very nervous, so she just sent me a message basically saying phew. And everyone else is watching as well. So we have a big Joyce WhatsApp group, and there was lots of nice messages on there.
Ireland have been on an upward growth since missing out on the T20 World Cup in 2020. What are the things you focused on to bring in these changes?
I think we have been on an upward curve. Obviously COVID has curtailed a lot of the games that we could have played over that period, but I think we've used the time pretty well, and in a way it wasn't the worst thing for us to get a big training block in over that period and really work on some fundamentals and what we want the team to look like. And as I said, there's been quite a big changing of the guard with a lot of younger players coming in, and also trying to get a culture of hitting the ball harder and taking a few more risks potentially for some of the senior players, which is tough to do when you're in the middle of your career, to try and change the way you play. But everyone's really embraced that, and I think trying to have a slightly more fearless approach to batting, which I think is really important. You have to do that in a T20 game. We're looking to try and get 140 to 160, and to do that you need to swing the bat and hit the ball hard. So I think that's been a big focus for us. And then with the bowling and the fielding, we've had a huge focus on our fielding. I think there's a long way to go with that yet. And we'll keep focusing on that, catching and fielding, and then with the bowling, it's just trying to be smart on the day. What's working on the day. I thought Jamie Maguire, a really good example of that yesterday. She figured out in that first over that the slower balls were working, and she just went with them almost predominantly, especially to the two left-handers. So that was really clever on the day, and that was a team decision out there. So just trying to be smart, but also quite aggressive, and I think the girls are really buying into that.
Amy Hunter opens the batting in T20Is while Leah Paul did the job in ODIs. Orla is now batting at 3 in the shortest format. Emma Richardson is bowling in the power play. How cautiously these tactical decisions are made to maximize these resources? How much are you into data analytics to make these decisions?
I'm not hugely into analytics, I'll be honest. We have a very good analyst, Jay Shalat, who does compile all the stats we need, for preparing for games and for looking at maybe the way we want to play cricket. I definitely am drawn more towards just how is an individual going to play the game, and how do you sort of maximise the natural strengths of an individual, whether it's a bowler or a batter or in the field or whatever it is. We've looked at the team, and obviously if we're trying to get a bigger score, 140 to 160, which I think I think we have to try and do that even against the top teams. You need some hitters at the top there. Amy's obviously a huge talent. Gabby, Amy and Orla, huge talents in the top 3 there, and we feel like they're the 3 most likely to be able to take advantage of that power play, which is obviously crucial, and also being able to play a number of different styles of bowling as well pretty well, which we've come up against in here. Some teams that bowl seamers at the start, and lots of other teams that bowl spin, and it's about trying to take good options and being able to maybe go over the top against those types of bowlers as well. So probably looking at that. But I think one of the great things about this group we saw yesterday was we do bat deep, and I think that's important as well when you're at the top. You want to be able to go hard, but also know that if it's not your day and that happens in a T20, there's still quite a lot of batting behind you. We brought Rebecca Stokel in at number 6 there, that was something that happened during while we were out here. We had it in our minds, but she had to open the batting a lot, so she can't hit the ball very hard. I think she's developed her power game, and we felt that was something we probably possibly needed down the back, and so very glad we did that for yesterday as well. So yeah, we bat deep, and that's really important. And then you asked about Leah. Then Leah's obviously a really good batter herself. She's fine left arm spinner. She's been left out the last few games in the T20, but her attitude's been brilliant. And as you said, she opens the batting in ODIs and does a great job for us there. I think she will develop into a good T20 batter as well, so that's exciting for us.
You have seen the evolution of players under your belt. Amy Hunter becoming a gun T20 bat, Orla becoming an ace all-rounder. Even someone like Georgina Dempsey can come into the 11 and not feel out of place. And all these players are very young. How do you empower them while also protecting them in their young career?
I think it's easier to empower young people, to be honest. They want to play the game in a fearless way anyway, and they've grown up watching T20 cricket, so I think we just need to make sure we don't say anything silly which takes away that fearlessness and bravery, and just keep letting them go out and accepting that mistakes or failures are going to happen, especially for the batters, but it's also for the bowlers. You have to, if you're trying to get players to use their slower balls or both ball bouncers or both fast, they're not always going to get that right, and it's trying to just make sure that you get that balance right between allowing players to play with freedom, but also trying to win the odd game as well in there. So I think we're doing okay with that. It's a fine balance. I think, as I said, protecting players, you protect them by just making sure that you let them know that mistakes are okay, and they're not going to get everything right all the time.
What are now the team goals for the South Africa World Cup? Anything specific you're planning on?
We don't know who we're playing yet, so I think that's we've got a big game on Sunday here. We really want to win that. We want to win a trophy here. We're not just happy to get through to the World Cup. We really want to try and beat Bangladesh, obviously, who are a really good team. We ran them close in that first game. I think we can bowl and feel better, and I think if we do that with the same fearless approach, we've got a great chance. And then we'll look at who we're playing in the World Cup and try and plan for that. I think one of the things that we didn't have wasn't necessarily fixtures if we didn't get through to the World Cup, so now we can actually plan with something in place. So we'll have a few planning meetings and see what we need to do. We've got Pakistan tour in November, which is going to be brilliant for us, brilliant for the team. Another progression for the team, and then we'll look at December and January about how to prepare for World Cup in February.
We're just going to talk about the ICC Championship, the FTP. The women never had it. It's the first time that they are having it. How important this entire setup is, because you're going to be traveling to a lot of countries. A lot of countries are going to travel down to Ireland to play some fixtures. How important this entire situation is going to be?
I think it's probably the biggest thing for us. The qualifier, 50 over qualifier last year was curtailed, and I don't think anyone wanted to see that, and we were fortunate in that we managed to get into the Women's Championship in a very strange route. But we're not complaining, and also, as I said at the time, I think it was okay and it was fair based on the fact that the way the Ireland women's teams played over the last 20 years in totality. I think we've been very competitive. We've had lots of good players, and I think we have been one of those top nations up until now. So I think, but in terms of getting fixtures, it's absolutely massive. So we have contracts coming this year, but if you don't play games, you can't get better. So we have lots of fixtures in front of us, and an amazing tour to Pakistan this year and West Indies next year, and as you said, a 3 or 4 year block where you can plan and you can improve and you can base things around certain fixtures, and we didn't have that before. So as well as it is getting into World Cups and stuff like that, I think being in that FT, having a good future tours program in front of us is more important, in fact.
And how important are the central contracts in this entire growth story?
Again, they're huge. They're all part of the same thing. It sort of allows the players to train and be available more. And we've got some full-time cricketers now, which quite a lot. Which is massive for us. It's brilliant for them to be able to earn the girls to be able to earn a living from playing cricket. But in terms of the team, it just allows you to have a bit more time. You recover better. You can think about the game. You can do more sort of analysis of how you can get better. You can plan better for tours, and obviously you can improve your game by hitting balls for as long as you want, or really focusing on things. So I think that's something that had to happen, because as I said, other countries are doing the same thing, and we're all trying to get better, and if we didn't do it, we'd fall behind.
Thanks a lot, Ed. Great tournament. Congratulations and all the best for South Africa.
Thank you very much.